Hi, Sarah.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on, and welcome everyone. This is Thrive with Ina, a podcast on which we interview the most incredible entrepreneurs all over the world to deliver you some messages, and the messages are, you can do it too. So today, we have a really incredible guest. Welcome, Sarah.
It's an absolute honour for you to have me here with you, and even to have some intentional conversations around some different things that are happening. But what you're doing with the podcast is incredible. So I just want to take a moment to say congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. This is super exciting. I think, like I was telling you earlier, that one of my absolute favorite endeavors now, out of all the things that I'm doing, is the podcast. Is because I get to meet one-on-one with the most incredible people, whether it's in person like we had the pleasure of doing today or virtually, and learn their story, something that I would never learn in a social setting. There's no time, there's no setting like one-on-one where you get to learn the most intentional and important life stories, and today is about yours.
Well, the honour of doing that as well, and just it feels like a privilege to be sat here and being of choice for something like that as well.
So, kind.
And I think with something like this as well, like you say, when you're one-to-one with somebody, you can just dive that little bit deeper and actually get the essence of the meaning behind the messages that we all have, that we're trying to inspire other people to do, whether in my own case of like helping other people live with intention. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, and I love that we're using the word intention so much, because today, everyone, the episode is about
intentional living.
Yes. And we have just the copy for you. The baby.
Have to show it. This is the baby. There is a story behind the baby, and actually how I first met Ina, of actually kind of like hunting her down and wanting her to be an absolute like contributor and expert, because you'll stand out in your field, and that's the aim of actually doing everything with intention. And the basis of the magazine itself is to actually inspire others to take conscious choices about where you're focusing your energy, what matters the most, and actually celebrating life.
I think that's important. That's one of the most important messages to our listeners and my coaching clients too, that are so overwhelmed sometimes with running a business or multiple businesses that they forget to live a life. And I encourage my clients to focus on living extraordinary lives, which is what I've always wanted. And now I have it. And now I have extraordinary businesses and extraordinary life and extraordinary partnerships.
Exactly that.
One of my favorite things. And so let's backtrack before we get all excited and carried away about the baby. Let us hear your story. How did you get started? First of all, what is this? What is this magazine? What is this beautiful book that we have here? And how did you get started?
Okay, so I'll start with how or what this is and why this is. And I think this is an accumulation of a lifetime of different lived experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, of being a solo entrepreneur, of being in business, of moving across the country and feeling very alone in life and business as well, and then bringing together all talents and expertise of what I did back in the UK, bringing it to the US, and being a bridge between everything. So that's kind of like the concept of what this is and why it is. But to kind of like take it back to the very beginning, my career started out as an entrepreneur, being a professional photographer.
Amazing.
Where I kind of started, I had a little puppy at the time, and I was doing puppy pictures for greeting card companies. So if you go to the stores and you see those gorgeous, like, cute puppies or the baby pictures, I was possibly one of the photographers that would have done something like that.
So let's go back to UK now and grab those cards.
and that got me started, and then I kind of progressed onto baby and women photography, so mother and baby images. And whilst I was doing those photo shoots, I would be having these conversations with ladies who would be very inspired by a photography business, or actually just starting a business from scratch. Like, where do you even start with something like that? So then my photography evolved into photographing women because I was seeing this beauty in a woman and everything that she was wanting to be, and I'd start helping them start over or start out in business. So I co-founded a company called Female Success Network, and it was for exactly that. It was to help you pursue your version of success. And we built an audience of over 8,000 women.
Wow.
Who we were literally helping start out or start over, whether it be about their marketing, whether it be about their creative direction, whether it be just business strategy of like, what do you do, how do you do it, and how can you get a little bit of a fast track on something like that. So all great, all doing amazing, big company, loved it. Then the life change came in of my husband coming back home from work on one of the days, and he said, I've been offered a promotion, and part of the promotion means that we need to move to New York. A place where we'd been separately, but we'd never been to together. So it wasn't actually on the bucket list to holiday here. It wasn't on the bucket list to move here. But there was a vision that I created 3 years previously. And I did a soul vision of a house, a home, and it was by the water, and it was thriving businesses. And I have to show you what it was. And he said, if I don't take this, I think we'll really regret it. And so we sat down. And
he's a great salesperson.
He was very, 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 very good. And actually, we were at that point in life where we were wanting to pursue success, but not just success from professional point of view, but from a lifestyle point of view as well. So my non-negotiable was, if we do something like this, is there going to be a balance between life, home, and business? And he said that will be the non-negotiable. And so he accepted the role. Within 4 weeks, he had moved to the US, and I was taking care of everything in the UK, selling my house, selling my studio where I had my photography business. And then a couple of months later, came here with no family, no friends, no credit, because when you move to the US, you start from scratch. And our home that we owned for 18 years was sold, it was gone. And a big life change took me through a little bit of depression, a little bit of anxiety, and a little bit of this loss and loneliness of what is next, because I can't do what I've done previously. I wasn't allowed to have a business here in the US of the visa that I was on. So the only thing that I could do at that moment in time was be my husband's wife, which is lovely and it's great, but that's not my sole purpose. I love my husband dearly, and he would even say the same. He's like, you are a go-getter, you have things to achieve, that cannot be your only role. I think a lot of us as women, we have these expectations that we put on ourselves, that we have to be the good wife, we have to be the good partner, we have to be a great mum, we have to be everything to everybody. And so there was this underlying feeling of like, I don't know what that is. And so from that, we started to live with a little bit more intention. And off the back of
drum roll,
then COVID hit, so we've got the whole thing around being locked in, and that made me bunker down, and I was like, I need to write a book. There was this book that was in me, and based on all of that, it was pretty much, I thought, was going to be a journal, but I also trained with Marie Diamond from The Secret, if you can watch that.
Yes, oh my god, I live by.
She is a feng shui master, and she taught us about energy, and this light bulb went off. And like, everything is energy. And everything that we put our energy towards allows us to live the life that we want to live. And although she was doing this from a home perspective, I then saw this as a life perspective, as a little bit of a magic map to give us a new lease of life, to focus on something different, to focus on the future. And with that, you get 9 life areas. So it could be your wealth and abundance. It could be your fame and reputation. It could be love and relationships. And there's 9 different areas. And it allowed me to do this intentional vision. And off the back of it, I was like, it was the next step from Female Success Network, because in Female Success Network, it was about pursuing your version of success. This was then the big thing of like, actually, if you're so busy chasing your success, your relationships are going to suffer. Your health is going to suffer.
100%.
Your spirituality, your home, your career. If you're so busy on one thing, you've got those other areas, and we were living proof of that at the time. Whereas this creative feng shui side of everything came, it was bringing about balance, which took us back to that original conversation of like, if we are moving here, how can we do something about life, home, and business?
Balance.
Yeah, and there was the birth of my book, which was called Live What You Love. And it was about focusing your energy on what matters the most. And then fast forward to now, there was lots of people that were asking me, like, what's next? When are you going to do the next book?
When is the sequel coming out?
And I was like, hey, this needs to be regular, because for all of us, the whole time, life is ever evolving. So I was also in connection with so many incredible experts. And the caption within the book was that a future that I see is we're able to kind of look at our bodies and scan our bodies for whatever we need, whether that's nourishing our body, whether it's retreats, whether it's nurturing ourselves, whether it's self-love, self-compassion. And I knew so many incredible experts, including yourself, where we could all come together and collaborate, and we could contribute, and we could connect on a frequent seasonal basis. And the season that we're in life, through a publication, through a platform, by coming together and educating and inspiring and empowering. And that is what led to the magazine that we do seasonally. So
amazing. That is amazing. You had so many different life changes within the last 5 years. And you've used all of those experiences to package them, if you will, into a quarterly book. You know, you call it a magazine, but it's a book.
It is.
It has a lot more intention than a magazine would. And every time I give it to someone to read and someone opens it and they feel like it's more of a book, it's like something that should be at Harrods, front and center as a book of the year.
Well, so the aim of this, so when you get your hands on it, everybody else get their hands on it and they read it, it's undated for that reason, for a reason for that to guide you through the season. So there's no date on it, with a bookazine feel on it, with the added extra, with the platform backing up behind, that then you can actually read more about the contributor and the person behind it, with the essence of like seasonal evenings where we can get together and we can have these intentional conversations that goes deeper. And that's the whole perspective of it, is that I don't want it just to be a magazine. I want it to be stimulating your senses, evoking your soul, like feeding your soul, and meeting people, touching people, like you're the person that's in there, and having this real connection with the people that have actually taken so much heart and soul into putting those words in together to improve somebody's well-being and their lifestyle. So it's an ever-evolving lifestyle to live and experience. So
and it's been pretty wonderful to watch you grow through the journey since we met about a year ago and to now, when we have an actual publication. And was it 2-3 weeks ago that we had this incredible launch? Tell us about the launch. Tell us about how you've handled and navigated all of the growth points of starting a printed media publication, for transitioning from publishing a book to involving so many different individuals and contributors and creating the finished product that we have here. The entire journey, what are the highlights, what are the points that you can tell us about today?
So the very short answer to that is that realization, you saying this now, is that when the final product of this bookazine, this baby.
Bookazine, I love this. We need to trademark this word.
It was, but when that was birthed, because I really feel that you do go through a labour of love with those projects, that I was actually rebirthed as well to the person of who I'm capable of being, because of the collective that have contributed to this, that have supported, that have encouraged, that have nurtured, that have, at my low points when I was like, I don't know whether this is possible, who am I to do this? Every single one of you who have been involved in all of this have pushed me forward, and I've just got all the feels.
I know, me too, I'm getting the chills.
Of like, keep going, keep doing it. And that's what's allowed me to transform into the person that I am, and you see here today, so proud and so happy to step into the power of actually producing something of that nature with pride, and standing at the front and looking at everybody that had travelled around the world. There was people from the UK, there was people from San Diego, there was people from Toronto. It was an international platform that everybody flew in to celebrate, and not everybody would do that for a standard thing, but they know that it's something more. And there's been pitfalls. There's been many occasions where I've thought this is not viable. I can't continue.
Of course.
But there was a point of feeling that I knew that it was big, and I knew that whatever it was, we had to keep pushing through, to ride through the storm, to keep going, to see the success at the other side of it. And through that, it's ended up that a lot of it, I've had to roll my sleeves up, do the work. Be up until 3 o'clock in the morning, to get back up at 5 a.m, to meet the deadlines, to deal with. At the time, I thought I needed a publisher. It was actually now the lesson and the blessing was that I needed to be an independent publisher. Everything had to come up for me to step up to the plate, to know every single ounce of what the process is, so I can manage it effectively, so I can have the right people in place to do it, and actually have strong conversations like we were spoken about, to stand up for the belief that I have in that, and actually do things very differently from what the mainstream would normally be to produce something like that.
That's what's so interesting about this publication, is that you're not taking any traditional routes in media, in published media, in printed media, and you are thriving and aligning with the world of change. The change is so huge in printed media, and most magazines can't keep up with their expenses, with the change, with the AI coming up, and you're ahead of it, which is your superpower.
It is it's the vision. And I can see the future vision of where all of this can, but I know that I cannot do this on my own. This is why I didn't approach advertisers. This was why I approached contributors, because if we are all effectively contributing and doing our bit and helping with the distribution and being part of something bigger, we're all having our part to play in shining a bright light and educating and inspiring. And I think a lot of media houses are so restricted because they're told what they're doing because they've done it for the past 20 years. Whereas the part of being independent is that if you need to move, you need to move quick, you need to move, evolve, you need to make a decision. You can do that, but you've got a support army behind you that can actually give you honest feedback, can have a great conversation and actually say, we're going to help you do this. And what about if we do it innovatively this way, and let's be resourceful on how we do things. And I think the beauty of it is that so many people are like, you're very ambitious to create a magazine. I was like, yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
And so
I love that about you.
Different. And I think that if you look on the shelves of any stores, you'll notice that the magazine rack has gone from maybe 100 to probably 20. And somebody said to me, does that concern you? And I was like, absolutely not. No, because at the level that we do this, and that's why we call it the baby, because you want to stroke it, you want to hug it. And I think there's a market for that level of desirable media that you do want to go on a secret hunt for it to find out where it's going to be. It's like, how can I be in there? How can I find it? And how can I get my copy? And it's like, you do go on your secret treasure hunt for something like that. So it adds to the desirability factor rather than it be like I've always said quality over quantity. Because you can go to the Hamptons, and I'm sure you've seen this. You can go down Southampton High Street, and there's hundreds of luxury media publications outside all of the beautiful stores. They're stacked up high, and then there's a storm that comes along.
And all of them just fly down the street.
And they get ruined. And and nobody wants a crinkly, crusty magazine on their coffee table. So that's the big thing is like, I don't want it to be wasted. I want it to feel like it's a gift that's been gifted to you, because it absolutely is.
It really is. And I know we keep referring to it as a baby. We have to tell everybody about the story.
Me too.
So when we had our first official meeting to talk about the magazine and how we're going to partner, Sarah came in and she literally held to the baby like this. And for the good amount of our meeting, you literally sat with this like that, like literally holding you like it. And so when you finally finished saying what you've prepared for me that day, you put it down on the table. I was like, wow, I didn't think you were going to let the baby go. And you're like, that's so true. I was holding it like a baby. And then you had a moment of evaluating that it literally was a birthing process. You know, you've created something absolutely incredible and beautiful, and I am so just honored to be a part of it. And I can't wait to see what else you have planned for us and in store for us, because of all the contributors that are here right now. Very special, because you are handpicking them and you have an intention with what is going into the magazine, which I love. So tell us a little bit about, without giving any secrets out, what do you envision for the growth of the magazine? I know we have the fall issue coming out, and what is the growth going to look like for this book?
I love that question. So thank you for asking it, because it's very different. So I have a tagline that I like to zig whilst everyone else is zagging. And so with this, I feel that what's important and what the events in the Four Seasons highlighted is that there's real benefit of having a live experience. And I feel that there's a way of immersing yourself in the words that you hear when you read something. And I think it's very powerful in the way that if you hear those words from the person that's written it, because there's no AI that can do that. It's the authenticity that's going to kind of be part of the growth of what we do, of continuing to find hand-picked contributors for different areas of lifestyle. So we're very female-led at the moment, so there's going to be more men that will come onto the scene that are empowering women. So there's always going to be a female founder element to this, because that's my roots of Female Success Network. Because
female founder and CEO.
Exactly that. And also there's that thing of, and I love that we're actually going down this birth route, because I feel that all of us in business, whether it's a different package that we're offering for our clients, whether it's a brand new business, whether it's a brand new location, I feel that I adore business. I can talk business all day, every day.
Same here.
And there's it excites me. There's a love for it. And I think that whatever we do in that way, we have a birth process that we go through with that. And then as you do it, it grows and it evolves. So the evolution of this is to have more live experiences in different parts of the country that involve different elements of whether it's tagged onto a retreat, whether it's a roadshow that's part of that, where there's like a longer experience that the contributors get to actually bring what they're doing to life. Because the tagline of the magazine is to read it, to love it, and to live it. So it's a growth of the community to have it in different locations around the world, bridge the gap of all these locations, and then start a bigger community that actually you immerse yourself into the season, not only with the magazine or the bookazine that we're saying, but also these live experiences, and then the things that are contained within the magazine itself to try and to test and to actually have part of your life. So it's everything comes to life. So the growth is going to be very different to what you would expect a normal magazine that you flip through on the pages. That's why it's so much more than it being that. It's a platform, it's an experience, and it's an immersive incubator.
Yeah, I love that word. You really are a visionary, and I want to ask you a question about that too. Okay. But hold that thought, because Burge, our British dog, is begging to come in here.
I'm gonna get him.
He wants to be the front and center. Come sit. Misbehaving. Sit, sir. Sit down. Good boy. There we go. You can be a part of our podcast too.
There we go.
He's like, what do you mean you're filming your podcast without me?
There he is. He's happy now. He's happy now.
Yeah. Good boy. Stay. So tell us about your superpower, if you will. Like I referred to it. The vision that you have. And we talked earlier about it, that you have this strategy vision, and not just for your business. You have this strategy vision for other people's businesses. When you hear their business idea or what they're doing, you have that projection in your mind. Tell us more about your superpower.
Yes, I think we all have a superpower within us. So I'm sure I'd love to know what yours is at some stage.
Today's about you.
No, but that's a different conversation. So the visionary in it is that when I see somebody, and I think this goes back to my photography days, of seeing the beauty within somebody and within something. So whether that's a business, a project, or a person. So when I see somebody that could be a client or a potential a contributor to the magazine, they can come and they can say, so what's the benefit of me being part of this? And then within minutes I can say, this, and this, because we can do this, and this. Because I've had a flash 5 years into their future where I can actually see the potential of 5 years' time that's down the line.
Wow.
And it's kind of all the bits and pieces. It's like a jigsaw.
It's like a business psychic.
Yes.
I love that.
I love that term. We'll have to translate that one.
Yes.
Of seeing that vision of like seeing that actually somebody wouldn't see in for themselves. And that again goes back to this female success network that I was part of, where actually about belief. So I see the vision and I believe that they can get there. Because I have this sense of belief in every single person that I meet, of possibility, of capability, of opportunity for each and every person. And then the best part of it is that I feel like a conductor in an orchestra with a bippity boppity boo type thing of like, and you need to do this and this and this, and it just feels like these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that can come together for somebody and kind of and bring that vision to life. That's ultimately what that is.
Oh my. I love that.
And it's business it happened in life as well. So if at the very beginning I said that I did a soul vision, and I didn't put any location on this, but it was a soul vision from the heart, and it was a house on there. There was a shed on there. It was a flatbed truck that we don't have. We don't have trucks in the UK like that.
Yeah.
I had a little cruiser. We were by the beach. We were by the sea, and we had our dog with us. And then 5 years.
Was it Cooper?
It was Cooper. He's my soul dog. He is my soul dog. And so 5 years and 2 days, we moved into that exact replica of the house, and we actually bought that house because of the vision.
Yeah.
Because I stood in the garden area, and there was the same shaped shed that was on my vision in that 5 year previously. I said, that's the shed. That's the house. And
there's no arguing with that.
No.
It
was, and even my husband was like, that is what we did, because we did it as a collaborative act, and that's the importance of having a vision, because this lady on the front of this has been on my vision board the whole time.
Oh, I love that.
And that's
the very first magazine cover.
Yes.
That's incredible.
It's so important.
Are you so you mentioned that it's going to be a quarterly publication, right? Yes. So it's going to be 4 times a year. And are you going to change the cover, or is it going to have a book consistency? What is the vision?
It's so every person is kind of. I'm going to intentionally not have any celebrities on there.
Okay.
So that I just don't want to be. I don't want to feel mainstream.
Okay.
I just, again, it's going back to that wanting to be different. Like
you're the zagging. Yeah.
That's the element of it. And every cover is going to be the vibe of the season. So this season, with it being summer, we're trying to do like messy hair, don't care, feeling free, feeling like just in the vibe of being on that boat, on the sea, and like putting your arms up in the air and just going, this is life.
This is the extraordinary life.
And so that is what I want them to feel when they feel it. They touch it, they hug it, they stroke it.
Yeah.
With all the,
yeah.
And the hug.
The baby.
Yeah, and then sometimes it might feel like that they are getting a hug. It might be nurture season. So each publication has a theme.
Okay.
So the theme that you wrote about was reinvention, and so the next theme is all about refocusing.
Okay.
All about refocusing. At the beginning of the year, we all start out with good intention, and then we get to kind of like September time, and it's like and it's that like check back in of like, where are you at this point in the year, and let's finish the year strong. And not necessarily strong in a hustle point of view, but like a strong mentality, of physical ability, of like finances. Every word that you can redefine, that's what the refocus and finishing strong means.
I love that. I love that I just lost my train of thought because there's so many things that I can ask you and I can think of. And I had a perfect question, but now I don't remember it. Now we have to pivot.
I know it, but with this, so with the point with the words and kind of like reinvention and refocus, everybody that is part of the magazine, I always say, how can we redefine that? So it's redefining luxury, it's redefining our reinvention, and redefining how we refocus in any area of life. So.
And it's important to refocus in the fall because summer just gets so wild for us, especially for those of us who are living in the 4-season nature environment, like in New York or other parts of the world. Summer is where everyone just says, I don't want to work. I just want to enjoy this leisurely lifestyle. And then the fall comes in and everyone's like, oh, we have to refocus. We have to come back to ourselves. We have to come back to our scheduling, our timing, and planning and all the things, which I love. Oh, that's the train of thought. I found refocusing and following along, which is a really interesting thing that I'm doing with the podcast. Like I mentioned to you before, that the first season is really just the introduction to meeting who you are, what led you down to the path of creating something or your business or your concept. And then we're going to follow up with the next interview, which is going to be season 2, is what's changed, how you've grown, where you're now. Maybe it's not the same project anymore. Maybe you've pivoted to a different business. Not you particularly, but the other entrepreneurs that I've interviewed. For myself, I am always evolving and pivoting and changing and growing. So the place I'm in right now in 6 months is going to be completely different, even if it's just the way I feel. So looking forward to having you back on this podcast. Before we close out, can you tell something very special to our listeners, sort of an advice to entrepreneurs that may be struggling like you did, like I did? You and I both moved to the United States with no friends and no family, and we had to build ourselves up to where we are now. So is there an advice that you can give to someone who may be in a similar situation or maybe just simply struggling with being lonely in the entrepreneurship?
I love that question as well. And I think the instant response is everything. Everything that you need, everything that you desire, everything that is possible, it is all within you. It's all there, like heart, mind, soul. And you just need to be supported by the right people and in the right environment to feel expansive, to feel confident, to feel safe, to feel supported. and your thoughts will grow, and you can, like, whatever you desire, whatever is possible, it's within you, and it's reachable, and it's all doable.
Yeah. Oh, I second that. I love that. Thank you so much for that advice. And I think The Secret is the movie that got me through my darkest moments, my lonely points, because I also am an immigrant to the United States. I moved here alone. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any family here until I was able to move my family here. And being a solopreneur and a transplant into a new place adds a whole other level of having to overcome so many more obstacles rather than if you were from here, if you had your support circle from your high school, college, whatnot. And I think it's important to remember, like you mentioned, that it is all possible.
It is, and I think the final word on that is that's the reason why I've said that everything is within you, because it's taken being plucked up from our native land and our native environment, where we have so much information, so many people that you already know, to pluck you up and take you to a place where you are on your own and you are stripped bare. And the only person that is going to get you through something like that at that time is yourself, through self-love, through self-compassion. And I think that that's what brings everything else. And the moment that intentionality comes in to living that and knowing that, that's when the game changes.
I think so too. Oh, this has been amazing.
Thank you for just being able to sort of like say the things of like, the transformation of realizing actually when this has come to life that's done so much for my own like self transformation.
Of course.
So thank you for bringing that, because that just came up today, and I'm excited to talk about like the next season, because I know it's evolving quickly and rapidly. So
yes, and you with your enthusiasm putting so much energy into it, and you're surrounding yourself with the people who have the same levels of enthusiasm, which is all reading through the intentionality of what you're creating. And I cannot wait to see where we are headed. And I cannot wait to write the next article. That's been very exciting for me. Like I was telling you earlier that the article for this particular issue, I finished when I landed in Athens on my recent yoga retreat, which was very special. I landed in a country I've never been to before. I couldn't check into my room, and I had to leave all my belongings behind. All I had with me was my laptop and my ideas. I found a coffee shop. I sat down and I finished the article, which I already had composed in my mind, but all I had to do was finish it, submit it, and you could do your magic so we can be in print. And now it is in print.
Beautiful.
Another question. Before we finish, everyone, where can listeners and readers find the copy? Where can they get their hands on the copy?
Well, if they want to visit you over in Hales, we're going to make sure that we get some there. There's select destinations that are in like the Long Island area and within New York as well. So I can give you a list of where, like links of where to find it. But because there's different destinations that we kind of like hand deliver. But if you want a copy, then just visit the Intentional Living website, and we can make sure that you get a copy.
So it's www.intentionalliving magazine.com. Perfect. And I'm going to link all of those things in the show notes as well, so the listeners have the idea of where to get their hands on the copy that is exclusive right now. I actually handed a copy to a friend of mine last week, and she's also an executive coach for corporations and universities around the world. And I was dying to know her opinion, because I didn't even finish reading through all of the magazine. And she got back to me within 3 days, and she said that it was very, very, very well put together, with intention reading through all of the articles and the theme going through all of the articles. It wasn't just thrown together into random pieces of information. Like a lot of magazines do try to bring that intention, but it doesn't read. You read about shoes on one page, and you read about broccoli on the other. You know, there's really nothing sometimes that holds it together. But this one, she got back to me, and then she said that it was very well done. She really enjoyed reading it, and she loved my article, and she loved your editing skills, and her feedback was great. But she said The one thing I didn't do is sign the copy.
Oh, and that's what people want.
Why didn't you sign my copy? We didn't even think of it.
But that's what makes it special.
Yes.
Because that's what people want. They want it to be that it's kind of, it's signed it and it's gifted, because it feels like that gift again. So
it was a gift.
And thank you for the feedback as well,
course.
Because that's a good sign to what's next. But also with that, that's the reason of the theme. So if we've all got the theme of intention, there's going to be that running through. So that's the hope for what's going forward as well. So let's go. Let's do it.
I'm so excited now. And now I have to go back to people that I've given the copy to and sign it, because now that's the idea of, having to sign. And this is the first time I am printed as an expert contributor as well. So that is a very special baby book.
And there's more. We've actually distributed lots out there, and where can we get more? So we're on the second batch of orders now, which is really exciting.
I love that. All of the exciting things. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all the things today.
Thank you. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure, and it feels like the only right thing to do is to discuss this. So what you're doing is incredible, and I just can't wait for what we've got coming ahead and everything that you're planning with the retreats and the podcast and everything coming. So we're exciting times ahead, and here's to the next episode we do.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. I am super excited to share this with our listeners. This episode will be coming out in a few days. Stay tuned. Check on Spotify and YouTube. And remember to subscribe to Thrive with Ina podcast on both YouTube and Spotify, so you can stay up to date and in the loop with all of the incredible entrepreneurs that we interview weekly. Have a nice day.